Thank you. It is good to be here. I'm Toby, and as your veteran news journalist and financial expert, let's dive into the core stories driving the globe, particularly how they translate into the everyday reality of the consumer. World news and financial analysis. We have two seismic financial stories dominating the headlines, plus a major geopolitical event that always bears close watching. Top financial story 1. U.S. consumer confidence plummets amid inflation and job market jitters. The latest data from the Conference Board shows a concerning drop in U.S. consumer confidence for September, falling to its lowest level since April. The index dropped to 94.2, a steeper decline than Wall Street analysts had forecast. The financial engine room. What's driving this? The consumer's top concern has once again shifted firmly back to prices and inflation, regaining the top spot over other issues like tariffs. Simultaneously, the job market, which has been a source of strength, is showing noticeable signs of strain. We saw a paltry 22,000 non-farm jobs added in August, with significant downward revisions to prior months. The unemployment rate is ticking up, now at 4.3%. The leading indicators point to a continued economic slowdown, the consumer effect. For the average American, this is the tightening of the belt. When confidence falls, people stop spending. This isn't just an abstract number. It's a measurable reduction in major purchasing plans. Intentions to buy new or used cars have dropped, and while home buying interest is up, perhaps a bet on future rate cuts, the overall mood is pessimistic. Companies, fearing the current economic ambiguity and the lingering effects of the Federal Reserve's rate hikes, are adopting a no hire, no fire approach. This translates to less wage growth and greater job insecurity for the consumer, making them much more sensitive to those persistently high prices at the gas pump and the grocery store. This lack of certainty becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, slowing the economy. Top financial story 2. The specter of a U.S. government shutdown. As of this broadcast, the U.S. government has, once again, failed to pass a comprehensive funding bill, leading to a partial shutdown. The financial engine room. The immediate market reaction has been surprisingly muted, with Wall Street setting new records as if shrugging it off as political theater. However, historically, shutdowns introduce uncertainty and can slightly dampen near-term GDP growth. Critically, it halts or delays the functions of non-essential federal agencies. For the financial world, this can mean a temporary pause in the release of certain economic data that markets rely on, creating an information vacuum. In the bond market, we've seen yields drop slightly, possibly reflecting a flight to safety as uncertainty rises. The consumer effect. The impact on the consumer is tangible and immediate. Federal workers face furloughs or are forced to work without pay, which hits household budgets directly. Essential services, like air traffic control, continue, but others face disruption. For the economy, this is a needless drag on consumption and income. Furthermore, key functions like processing new government loans, for example, small business or some housing loans, can be delayed. It creates an overall sense of instability, further compounding the concerns raised by the confidence numbers, making families more risk-averse. Major world news. Death of an icon, Jane Goodall. In a major, non-financial story that touches the human spirit and our planet, the world mourns the passing of Dame Jane Goodall at the age of 91. The legendary primatologist and conservationist fundamentally transformed our understanding of the natural world and, by extension, our own humanity, through her pioneering research on chimpanzees. The wider lens. Goodall's legacy has a subtle but powerful connection to the future global economy through the lens of environmental, social, and governance, ESG, investing. Her lifelong work fuels the growing global focus on climate change and biodiversity. which increasingly dictates corporate policy, regulatory action, and the allocation of hundreds of billions of investment dollars. Her voice for the planet will continue to echo through the boardrooms and parliaments of the world. And now, we turn our attention to the local stories that impact the people of Southern California.
For a look at the 5 key local news events, let's go to Janine Holcomb in Los Angeles. Local news. Los Angeles, California, United States. Thank you, Toby. It is a busy day here in the City of Angels. Here are the top 5 local news events impacting Los Angeles and the surrounding area. Impact of the government shutdown on LA. Locally, the new federal government shutdown is immediately impacting Los Angeles. Officials are scrambling to determine how various federal services, from national park operations to certain federal housing assistance programs, will be affected in Southern California. The LAX Automated People Mover project, already facing delays and budget overruns, will see new scrutiny as federal funding streams are threatened or paused. LA Councilman Curran Price hospitalized. Los Angeles City Councilman Curran Price was hospitalized today after suffering a health-related incident while attending a groundbreaking ceremony for the LA Convention Center expansion. His office has confirmed that the incident was heat and dehydration related, and he is recovering, but it briefly halted the high-profile civic event. LA County approves $20 million settlement. Los Angeles County has agreed to a $20 million settlement with the family of a 4-year-old boy who was tragically tortured and killed by his parents. This heartbreaking case has renewed public focus on the failures of the county's child protective services and is sparking new calls for systemic reform. DMV unveils redesigned California driver's licenses. The California Department of Motor Vehicles has introduced a major redesign for its driver's licenses and ID cards. This is the first overhaul in nearly a decade, and it includes new, advanced security features intended to combat counterfeiting and identity theft across the state. New data highlights Latina equal pay disparity. Ahead of Latina Equal Pay Day, a new UCLA data analysis confirms that Latinas remain the lowest paid major demographic group in the United States, despite educational gains. The report highlights the significant wage gap persisting in the Los Angeles job market, intensifying the local conversation around economic equity and workplace fairness. This has been your local news update for Los Angeles. Stay blessed, and may God bless all of His people wherever they are at. Please like and subscribe if this content was useful to you.